Today I wanted to talk about 5 different websites that you can use for researching locations in your genealogy research. And the first one is a website called Early American Roads and Trails by Beverly Whitaker. She is a professional genealogist. She has sketches of various roads and trails that were used in early America, and it has the modern locations listed for them along with the time period used. If you click into like the California Trail, it will show you when it was used, a little sketch of it, and then also has a download for 2 pages of facts about the trail. So it's kind of helpful in learning how your family moved west, if they did, and during what time period before modern transportation existed. 2. Railroad maps from 1828 to 1900. These are housed on the Library of Congress, and they have 635 maps, with the oldest one going back to 1828. It was first intended for horse-drawn power, and it was laying out possibilities of lines that they could build. This would be a good way to find out how your ancestors moved west, if they did, and by what means. See if the railroad actually existed where they ended up settling, or if they would have had to use a wagon to get to their eventual destination. 3 is a website called the Atlas of Historical County Boundaries. And when you are newly researching an area that you're not very familiar with, the first thing you want to do is find out when the county was formed or the state, because you may need to look for records in various counties depending on the dates you're researching. This website has boundary animations and shows timelines and has interactive maps, which is very helpful in getting a grasp on where you should be looking. My 4th tip is to become acquainted with the surnames of your ancestors' neighbors and associates. If you know that their neighbor was McGillivray and you see a McGillivray Road in rural Pennsylvania, chances are your family lived right there too. A lot of those old names have come forward into modern times on waterways and roads, or even the name of a mill or something like that. So look for clues. I was recently trying to find a homestead for a man named Theodore Cassoon for a client. He came over from Germany in the 1840s. His neighbor had the last name of Bohnsack, B-O-H-N-S-A-C-K. And as I was looking at Google Maps, I saw a Bohnsack Road near New Prague, Minnesota. So I was able to look in that area for the homestead and eventually found it. If somebody operated a mill in your family and you find Mill Road, then chances are that's where you should be focusing your attention. You can find a lot of information that way, and it's really surprising which roads and waterways are named after people, and they've just always had that name and nobody really knows the history on it. My 5th location tip is a website called Historic Marker Database, hmdb.org. And it was organized in 2006 and run by volunteers, so it's kind of similar to Find a Grave in that respect. You can edit listings that you see out there and submit your own if they're not found there, and add pictures and directions to different historic markers. You can search for ones near you or by specific locations, and that can help you kind of get historical context for an area that an ancestor lived, and they might even be mentioned in it. I went out to the website and I entered one of my more prominent family members in there, James McFarland, who was one of the leaders of the Whiskey Rebellion in 1791. And it popped up with 4 different historic markers that he's mentioned on. It can help you find significant family member sites, like this one listed where the Battle of Bower Hill was, which is where he died. It is now in a suburb, kind of in a hospital parking lot, but I was able to go visit exactly where he was shot and killed because of this website. So I encourage you to go check this one out. That's all for now. Thanks.